Federal facilities still have real security challenges, and FPS needs to act now and in a sustained way to address those challenges.
Hi, and welcome to GAO's Watchdog Report, your source for fact-based, nonpartisan news and information from the U.S. Government Accountability Office. I'm your host, Holly Hobbs. Across the U.S., there are thousands of federal buildings and facilities, including office buildings and customer service centers. Protecting these facilities from growing threats is a big, important job. To see how effective security is at these facilities, GAO investigators recently went undercover to test whether they could smuggle in banned items such as weapons. We'll learn more about this investigation and our work on federal facility security from GAO's Dave Marroni, who led work for our new report. Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
We don't always do undercover investigations for our reports, so I wanted to start with that. What all did we do, and what did we find?
So our undercover work, we had investigators try and get prohibited items into various federal facilities. They had a backpack. They filled it with a prohibited item. So we used pepper spray, a baton, or a multi-purpose tool with a knife. They also filled the backpack with other common things you might have, like pens, paper. And then they simply tried to get the backpack through the security guard process, through the screening process you might see at an airport and at any secure facility. And the test was, do the guards catch the item or does it get through? And what we found is in about half the cases, they succeeded in doing so.
What does that tell us about security in these facilities?
What it says is these facilities are not as secure as they need to be, and that's really a long-standing challenge. We've been looking at this for 20 years now, and this has been a consistent problem. So it's not new, but it's something that needs to be addressed.
So whose responsibility is it then to secure these facilities?
So the Federal Protective Service, FPS, which is part of the Department of Homeland Security, oversees the security of about 9,000 federal facilities across the country. They provide security through a contract guard workforce, so about 13,000 contract guards at facilities, again, across the country.
And so we shared with them that we were able to bring stuff into these facilities. How did they respond? What did they think of our finding?
So they were appreciative of the results. They definitely have a learning attitude. They also have their own covert testing program, and they have found results that are consistent with our own. So I don't think it was a surprise, but more of a confirmation of a real issue they need to deal with and challenges that they have been trying to tackle now for a couple of decades.
Given that, what steps are they taking to better secure these facilities?
They've taken a number of actions. First off, putting in place that covert testing program has been a positive step. They didn't used to have that, but in response to some of our prior work, they put it in place. They've also improved training for contract guards over time to try and give them more specific training on what they need to do. And they have put in place some data systems that are meant to help them oversee the guard program, make sure that the guards have the training and certifications they need to stand post. So those are all positive steps.
So if we were still able to smuggle stuff in, then clearly the steps they've taken aren't enough, right?
So for all of those items I just listed as positive steps, there are challenges associated with it that still need to be addressed to really improve guard performance. The covert testing program, they do collect data, but it's not great data. It's not always consistently entered, and there's some real reliability issues with it. So that's a problem. They also don't robustly analyze the data at this point to really find out what are the systemic problems that we may need to address. So that's an issue as well. They have improved their training over time, but it's still not very targeted on certain issues. When a guard, for instance, doesn't detect an item, some contractors will then provide training that is very targeted and specific on how to not do that again. Other contractors we found provide just general guidance that doesn't actually address the issue they had, and that's not going to be very effective. And then FPS has put in place data systems to try and improve their oversight. So they have a sense that every guard post is being staffed by someone who has the training and certifications they need. And those systems have had real problems for years now actually doing what they're supposed to do.
So Dave just told us that even though actions have been taken to better secure federal buildings and facilities, our investigation revealed some gaps that still need to be addressed. Dave, given what we found, what more do we think needs to be done to better secure these facilities?
So first off, collect better, more consistent data, put in a robust analysis of that data so that FPS can get a sense of what are systemic issues and how do we address that in guard performance. Secondly, they need to provide better guidance to contractors on what specific training they should provide when specific issues arise so that guards can learn what they need to. And then finally, on the data systems, they really need to go back to the drawing board and ask, first off, these systems have been in place for years now and have not been fixed. Should we start fresh? Or if not, then they really need to come up with a plan with defined milestones on when they're going to fix the problems so that the systems actually deliver what they're supposed to.
And last question, what's the bottom line of this report?
So the bottom line is federal facilities still have real security challenges, and FPS needs to act now and in a sustained way to address those challenges.
That was Dave Marroni talking about our new report on federal facility security. Thanks for your time, Dave.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to the Watchdog Report. To hear more podcasts, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And make sure to leave a rating and review to let others know about the work we're doing. For more from the Congressional Watchdog, the U.S. Government Accountability Office, visit us at gao.gov.